Hello, it's Nigerian today, and we're back with another video. What are we doing today?
So recently, the top 16 candidates for Miss SA were announced.
Yeah.
There were a couple controversial figures in there,
Yes.
but we're going to focus on the one for now.
Yes.
Let's just check out this clip first,
Okay.
and then you tell me what you think.
Hello South Africa, my name is Chidima Vanessa Onwe Adechina. I'm 23 years old, all the way from Cape Town. I'm a Nepal player and an LLB law student.
There was a lot of controversy around
Yes.
this young lady. I'll call her Chi Vanessa because I don't know how to pronounce it.
Chidima.
So when the announcement came up, there was some outrage from a lot of South Africans.
Yeah.
But let's get your thoughts on what you think first.
So look, I won't lie, hey? Like, I won't lie. Before I say like my honest and true views on this, when I saw that, the first thing I saw was like, what? Chidima? In South Africa? Wait, hold up. You know, obviously she's Nigerian, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, by the name, right? Like, by the name, you could tell like she's originally from Nigeria, I believe. But then again, then I came to think like, well, but she's South African. So I quickly stopped myself, and I don't blame like the regular South African who would have gone all the way with that and be like, you know, getting very emotional about it and not, oh, but she's not South African or whatever. But then at the same time, it's like, what do you mean she's not South African?
Yes, that's a very important question.
Yes.
So the question that you should be asking yourself is, should she represent South Africa?
It's difficult to say. It's really difficult to say. It's difficult to say when it comes to like representing a country. I know that's a little bit of a sensitive thing for people because for South Africans, you want South Africans to represent South Africans, right?
Yes.
And yes, but like, how can we take that away from her though if she has been here her entire life? You can hear the way that she speaks. She speaks like a South African.
She doesn't.
Yeah, she does.
No, she does. So these are my thoughts on this.
Yes.
She meets the requirements to be a contestant in Miss South Africa.
Yeah.
Do I believe that she should represent South Africa? No, she shouldn't.
Okay.
Why? South Africa has an identity.
Yeah.
And her identity does not match South Africa's identity.
And she can't relate to...
So as much as she was born here...
But she's a type of South African, which now we need to come to terms with the fact that they are...
No, we don't actually. So the agreement that we came to as a society in 1994, right, is that we have specific South Africans. We have Black South Africans.
South Africa is for all that live in it, isn't it?
Yes, but South Africa has an identity. You can't get an Asian person and say that person's South African.
Yeah.
We have an identity. We know what a white South African looks like. We know what a white South African speaks like, and we can recognize a white South African name.
Yeah.
You can tell the difference between a Afrikaner and a person from the Netherlands.
Yeah.
You can tell the difference from a British or a white South African who's from Britain and someone who was born and raised in Britain.
Yeah.
There's that identity that they speak a certain way, they look a certain way, and you can tell their names as well. So those are the three things that I usually use to be like, okay, does this person actually match the South African identity?
So where should she model? Where should she, you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
it's unfair. Because
it's unfair on her.
firstly, she can't go and represent Nigeria because she can't relate. She doesn't stay in Nigeria. She doesn't,
Her parents kind of did her wrong here. So from my understanding, both her parents are not South African. From my understanding, she was born here,
but
and she
obviously
grew
for
up
long
here.
living, and their child being South African.
So just by being born here and grown up here, she's a South African citizen, and she's truly South African, right?
Yeah.
But her identity, as you can tell, is Nigerian. She's a Nigerian descendant, and her identity solely shows that. When you look at her name, without context, what do you see? Like I was saying, her mother did, or her parents in fact did, give her a South African name if you wanted to be a South African citizen.
So don't you think like South Africans would still have a negative reaction towards them if they
It would have been a start.
their name.
It would have been a start if she actually had.
Like, and what name is she gonna choose?
Like, listen to what
now
I'm saying.
does she choose to associate with a certain tribe in South Africa?
It doesn't matter. Just have a South African name. Let's just start there. You're representing the country here.
Yeah.
You're not gonna go to Nigeria and see Miss Nigeria is Ntomfuto or Mazulu or whatever. You're not gonna see that. That person's gonna represent Nigeria.
Yeah.
And even anywhere in the world, even if you go to America, there are white Americans different from European Americans, different from South Africa. There's identities here.
And even within themselves, they still have an issue with like, why are we representing America?
So you're not gonna go you're not gonna go to Zimbabwe and you see somebody represent Zimbabwe with a South African name. You're never gonna see that.
Okay, but it's just a name.
Even
if we think about it, like, let's be honest, it's just a name.
But that name needs to represent the country. Think about it like this. You as a South African, when you look at if Miss SA was to be picked now, this is Miss SA 2024.
Yeah.
If somebody put the name, you must be like, oh, that's a South African name. Cool. If you see her picture, oh, that person is South African. If you listen to her speak, completes the whole picture, you're South African.
Yeah. But like,
you need that whole identity, you need that whole picture in there. Otherwise, you can't be like...
Would you feel the same way about like members of parliament? Would you, like, for instance, if it was like a person who has been Nigerian parents but they're South African, would you have a problem with them maybe being a minister? Or
that's a bit of a different thing, but okay. Again, people still have a problem.
Like when it has to represent the country.
You're representing the women of this country. How could you have a woman who looks Nigerian and who is Nigerian?
What if she does win? What if she does win with South Africa and she goes on to go and represent South Africa to the world? And then they say the winner of South Africa, Miss South Africa, is...
Yes, it's a Nigerian name, a Nigerian face, and a Nigerian speaking. That's just wrong. That's what I mean. This is all about representation.
Yes.
That's why Uzozi Banzi. Like, listen to that name.
Yeah.
Uzozi,
you know that is,
yes. Look at her. That's South African. Hear her speak.
Hello, Sandozam. Come a little closer and let's have a chit chat.
Yes.
That's South African. Even with her twang. Yeah. She has this Bonang twang.
Like, people relate to her. Like, South African girls will relate to her because it's like...
Now, when a South African girl looks at Miss South Africa, born in Nigerian, what do you expect him to think? If I was to give you her name and you see her picture and you don't know where she's from, what are you gonna think? That's my point.
I hear the argument. It's not that I don't hear it, but I'm just saying, like, maybe we need to really start being...
Identity is very important when it comes to all these things about countries and stuff like that.
She hasn't changed the identity of South Africa.
She has. If you have a Miss South Africa, where most people can't even pronounce her name, is that right?
I think that's not fair.
I mean, I'm asking the question. I can't pronounce her name. Her name is not South African. Her appearance isn't South African, and even the way she speaks, to me, just that's my opinion. She cannot represent South Africa. That's my opinion.
I beg to differ. I say, in my opinion, I feel like we need to start being a little bit more flexible with these things. The world is changing.
You guys just let us know what you think about this whole situation.
Yeah, let us know.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And keep watching. Goodbye.
We'll check you guys in the next one.